and welcome to what we've been reading for June 2024. I'm Jennifer, and this is Kate.
And it has been quite a busy month here.
Absolutely. We had a whole week of vacation Bible school, and then I went into 2 weeks of teaching confirmation classes at church. So I'm just done.
We've been running hard and fast, but we still managed to squeak in some reading. So let's go ahead and take a look.
Our book for June from the Sophia Institute Press Book Club was this one, All Things Catholic, A Guide from A to Z by Sean McGaffey.
And so when we say we read this one, it's not actually the type of book that you would sit down and just read in a couple of different sessions.
But it is the type of book that makes a really handy reference volume. For instance, if you want to know what the Catholic Church teaches about evolution, here you go, all laid out for you, easy to read and understand.
So this book covers a whole variety of topics. There are beautiful pictures in it, and it has lots of helpful Catholic tips along the way. So if you are new to the faith or just want an easy summary of what Catholics do and believe, this is a great choice.
Yeah, I thought of this as kind of a catechism light book because it has all the information that you are looking for, but it's a little bit easier to read than the official Catholic catechism. So I can see myself having this in my classroom. I could look up things quickly in here or have one of my students do it with the added bonus of not having to go online to get the information.
It could also be a great resource for homeschooling for the same reasons.
So we know that some of our viewers out there also have a copy of this and have liked it. If you have read it, leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you thought. It was a winner here. Moving on to our quick read book for June 2024, which was this very interesting short book, You Are Never Too Busy, Seeing Your Time the Way God Sees It by Conor Gallagher.
And this book is all about asking God to help you slow down and stop being so crazy busy. And we love the first line of the introduction. It says, "The Lord will free you from your busyness." Because sometimes it really feels like you need an act of God to actually slow down.
We're all so crazy busy all the time. Life is so hectic. But in this book, the author said one thing that just jumped right off the page at us, and it was that the saints were not too busy. In fact, many of the saints, all they wanted was to be alone with God.
They never wanted to be part of another committee or drive somewhere or volunteer for one more thing.
So this book really spoke to me because after all the weeks of preparation for Vacation Bible School and then the week itself and then 2 more weeks of confirmation classes after that, I'm just done. I'm ready to go and be a desert hermit, at least for a while.
And so the author gives a lot of practical advice for how and why to slow down. And our favorite way was to pray over your to-do list and specifically ask Jesus what he wants you to stop doing. And he does mention that sometimes God takes away our busyness by allowing us to fail at certain tasks, which is an interesting thought.
So the book is short, perfect for busy people. It has great advice, and it has a lot of really beautiful prayers scattered throughout.
And from what we've heard, this book is the first in a series of short books with helpful advice. So we're curious to see what the author writes next. So I have, over the past few months, not really finished very many books, but I am in the middle of reading quite a few. So I decided I would just give you an update on what I am currently reading. The one book I did manage to finish, however, as in I finished this literally yesterday, is Machine Vendetta by Alistair Reynolds. This is the 3rd book in the Prefect Dreyfus Emergencies series, and I talked about the first book, Aurora Rising, several months ago on the channel. So I definitely enjoyed this book, and I'll have that first video linked down below if you want a little bit more information. It's been a very good adult sci-fi. And then I am currently reading 3 other books. The first one is Royal and Ancient by Amanda Lauer. She's one of the Catholic teen book authors, and this has been a fun time travel story. And you will see more of this book in a different video. And then the other one is Blink and We'll Miss It by Jenny Coaches. I'm not very far into this book, but I really enjoyed it so far. It's kind of like set on the coast, and I grew up on the coast, so I'm really, really interested to see what's gonna happen in this one. And then I'm also listening to another book right now on Libby. I'm listening to Death on the Nile by Agatha Christie. I wanted something to listen to, and I was kind of in the mood for the old style mystery. So this one is just hitting the spot on that, and I'm almost done with it, and I've definitely very much enjoyed it.
My reading this month definitely had a travel theme going on. I love to read about people's trips to holy places and pilgrimages. So when this book came my way, My 50-Day Pentecost in the Holy Land by Dr. George Saramuga, I hope I'm saying his name right, I was definitely very intrigued. So in the spring of 2023, the author spent 50 days in the Holy Land, traveling around first by himself and then as part of a whole group tour. And he kept a detailed journal, lots of notes, and he is sharing that with his readers. The author is such a joyful person. You can tell from his writing, and his zest for life and enthusiasm, that just shines right through. So if you've ever wondered, what would it really be like to go to the Holy Land? What would I see? What would I do? Where would I stay? How would I get around? What would I eat? Then this book has all the answers for you. He's on the ground in the Holy Land. He's introducing you to the people he meets. He's sharing with you what he's thinking, all his daily activities. The author is a practicing Catholic, so he takes you along with him to all the masses that he goes to in the Holy Land, and he talks a lot about his faith. So my favorite part of the book was when the author decided that he was going to take a bike ride around the Sea of Galilee. I didn't even know that you could do something like that, but he hops on a bike and he takes you on this big trip around the Sea of Galilee and describes to you exactly what it was like, and it was just so interesting. I don't think I agreed with every last little thing that he said, but that's all right. We don't have to agree on everything. And I felt like, this is his travel journal. He's just given it to you as he saw it. So it was a little bit rough in some places. I felt like maybe it could have been polished up a little more. Maybe some editing would have made the flow better. And there were some typos, but that did not stop me in the least from enjoying this book so very much. It just made me so happy to read it, and every time I see it, I'm just filled with joy. So thank you, Dr. George Saramuga, for writing this wonderful book. My next book is a pilgrimage book called A Walk to Rome by Dennis Larkin, who is also a devout Catholic. In the 1980s, when he was approaching 30, he decided that he was going to take a pilgrimage. He was going to walk in the footsteps of a famous Catholic writer, Hilaire Belloc, and walk from Germany all the way to Rome, over 800 miles. So mind you, this was in the 1980s, so let's think about that. No cell phone, no internet, nothing to guide himself but a series of paper maps. So he just packs his backpack, grabs a walking stick, and sets out. And not surprisingly, things don't go exactly as planned. I don't want to give away any major spoilers, but he did hit one very large unexpected roadblock, and I really admired how he persevered through all of his trials and just kept going. I was also really surprised that not everyone was friendly to him as a pilgrim. That just took me off guard. Some people just weren't happy to see him, or some people tried to take advantage of him. There were two incidents in the book that made him and me as a reader very angry. I appreciated how honest the author was about what he was thinking and feeling, and then sometimes he had to admit, oh, I made a mistake, or I was wrong about this. I don't know, his complete honesty I thought was very refreshing and made him feel definitely a lot more relatable for me. Also, there was the added bonus for me was that inside he has sketches that he actually drew along the way. So when he's talking about different places, often there's a picture that he drew, and I thought that was just a really nice touch. So if you're looking to be an armchair traveler this summer, I think this one is another really good choice. My last book is one that has been on my to-be-read pile for over 10 years, and that is Weapons of Mass Instruction by John Taylor Gatto. We homeschooled here for many, many years, all the way through the end of high school, and I always felt like as homeschoolers, I should read this book, but I just never did. And then when I went to our local library to find a copy, I was kind of shocked to find out that our local library system has not one single book or article by John Taylor Gatto. So I listened to it on Hoopla as an audiobook. It was all good. If you're not familiar with the author, he was a public school teacher in New York for over 30 years. He was well respected, the students liked him, he won all kinds of teaching awards, until one day he just had it and he dashed off a letter to a newspaper about all the problems in the American school system, and when it was published, that catapulted him definitely into the limelight for better or worse. So his book is really just a big rant about the school system in America, and this was even before the pandemic, so I can only imagine what he would think now. Anyway, when you read it though, oh my goodness, wow. I mean, you can see why he was upset. One example from the book was that as a school teacher, he wanted to buy books for his classroom, and there was some type of warehouse or something where you could buy books for 40% off. And so he went there expecting to get a discount of 40% on the books that he was using his own money to buy for his classroom. But at the checkout, they said, oh, you have, 50 copies of Shakespeare. You must be a teacher. And he said, yes, I am. And so the checkout clerk said, oh, well, you can only have 25% off. And he said, what the heck? What's going on? And it turns out that the state of New York, or his school system, had negotiated with this bookseller that teachers could get 25% off, but only 25%. So I could go and get 40% off, but because he was a teacher, he could only get 25%, and that just makes no sense. So things like that would drive me insane, but that was just small potatoes compared to some of the other problems that he mentions in the book. So it was definitely a very interesting and thought-provoking read. If you have ever read anything by John Taylor Gatto, I would love to hear about it. So let me know down in the comments.
All right, so that was a look at what we've been reading in the month of June.
So we're really hoping to slow down in July, be in vacation mode, and get a lot more reading done, because that is something that we really enjoy.
And of course, as always, let us know down in the comments what books you read in June and what you want to read in July.
So thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll see you next time. Bye.